Why is your appetite out of control? Wonder why you can't seem to get enough to eat? Are you a glutton? Maybe so, maybe not. But more importantly, why? If you want to know what's really going on, stay tuned. Hello, this is Dr. Raymond Edison, your digital doctor, admitting you to the channel where we show you how to take charge of your health. Welcome if it's your first time. Welcome back if you've been here before. Thanks to those of you who bought my book entitled Take Charge, How to Achieve Lasting Health, the book that accompanies this video series. This is what you'll learn in this video. Why it's so important to eat whole, healthy foods. How the body processes the food you eat. Why your voracious appetite might not be your fault. Let's talk a little bit about how the body works. You have opposing forces in the body. Things that excite it, things that calm it down. Life constantly seeks to strike a balance between opposing forces. There's also something called homeostasis. This is the body's internal monitoring system to regulate the levels of hormones, chemicals, and biological systems that are needed to sustain life. For example, your body releases the hormone cortisol in the morning. That sets a cascade of reactions that helps produce the energy you need to wake up and get started on your day, because you need much more energy to go about your day than to sleep. So it constantly monitors the level of this hormone. It goes down when you don't need as much, it goes up when you need it. This brilliant inventory system is true for all hormones in the body to strike that balance that you need to function normally. Example, thyroid hormone, which regulates the rate of your metabolism. The body senses the level of thyroid hormones in your system. It will send a signal to the brain that leads to either the stimulation for more to be produced or for less to be produced, depending on where you are. Another example of that is when a person takes prednisone. The body senses that level of prednisone in your system and decides, I don't need to make any because we have some. That medication is used for various medical conditions like asthma, other conditions that cause inflammation. And if you get that externally for too long, the body will stop producing it because it senses that it's there. Then, if it stopped, suddenly your body will go into a crisis. You can't function because it doesn't have time to make enough that you need in the period of time that you need. That's why when people are on a medication like that, it's always tapered off slowly to allow the body to detect the decrease in levels and start stimulating to make its own levels. This regulatory system includes two hormones called ghrelin and leptin. These hormones help control your appetite. Ghrelin is produced in your gut, mostly in the stomach. It's known as the hunger hormone, which when the levels increase, you feel hungry, and it's produced in fat cells. And it's known as the satiety hormone. The fat cells release and say, okay, we have enough stored fat. We're not in a caloric deficit. You can stop eating. You're satisfied. There are many things that can cause the system to go awry, and we'll discuss. But first, let's go down inside the body and see what kind of conversations are going on when you eat, depending on what you eat. Should be fun. When we eat nutrient-poor, GMO, ultra-processed food, the conversation goes something like this. The cells send the signal saying, we didn't get the nutrients we require for these chemical, biological processes we're doing down here. And it sends a message to the brain saying, I still need some nutrients, therefore, I'm not satisfied. Keep eating. And this sweet stuff that tastes like sugar is not really sugar. So I'm not getting any energy from this, so send me some real sugar. This fried food has denatured proteins, meaning that they're really not any good. I can't use them. They're not breaking down into the amino acids that we use to produce the energy like they should. Send me some real protein. This orange juice is mostly sugar. It's only 2% juice. While I'm getting plenty of calories from the sugar, I need some vitamin C. I'm not getting that. And what is this trans fat garbage? What are we supposed to do with this? And this GMO hamburger has lots of calories but no nutrients and lots of chemicals that we have to get rid of because they're toxic. Hey, where's the real food? I know my stomach is full because the stretch sensors are going off. So I'm not really completely satisfied, but I'm going to calm it down because I can't hold anymore. But I didn't get what I needed. As soon as the stomach empties some, it releases more ghrelin, and you're hungry again. But if you keep eating the same thing, the ghrelin levels are going to continue to be up, and the leptin levels that satisfy you won't, and it may lead to leptin resistance. So in this situation, the only way you can get half-heartedly satisfied is from the fullness of your stomach, which has you eating more and more, and the satisfaction the sugar brings you, which goes to that area of your brain and says, oh, I'm good, I'm happy, temporary. And the next time, it'll take more to give that same level of satisfaction, and more and more. The body has nothing to do with these excess calories because you're sitting around with a remote control in your hand instead of walking around. So it has no choice but to turn them into fat. Insulin has risen, which is a fat storage hormone, and we're off to the races. So now you're eating more and more, obtaining less and less energy from what you're eating, and developing a heavier, more weighty, nutrient-starved body. This happens over a long period of time, not the first time. It takes time, sometimes years, before this kicks into place. And over time, you have a larger, more nutrient-starved body. Not calorically starved, but nutrient-starved. And it usually takes years to get to this point. Yeah. How much did you weigh 10 years ago? Do you have the same energy you had 10 years ago? So, are you a glutton? You are. But why? It's because of what you eat and what you don't eat. Have you ever eaten a whole pie, half or more of a cake, a dozen or more cookies, a bucket of fried chicken, a slab of ribs? You're primed to eat more and more of these nutrient-poor foods, these inflammation-causing foods, in an effort to satisfy. And you're relying on only the sensors in your stomach, which get less and less sensitive, and your stomach stretches more and more, and that part of your brain that the sugars goes to give you that temporary satisfaction. Now, have you ever even thought about eating a dozen oranges, or 12 or more bananas, or a bushel of salad? Probably not. As I said before, sweet gives you that temporary satisfaction, And we use sweet drinks for that. Gives you that false sense of satiety, goes to the pleasure center in the brain, and increases that dopamine. And you think you're satisfied until it goes away. Then you need a little more drink, a little more other things to do it the next time. Sound familiar? Ever heard of a thing called addiction? That high caloric, refined carbohydrate content in the food causes wide fluctuations in insulin levels. Well, first in blood sugar levels, then insulin comes in to restore the situation, and it leads to a lot of other problems that you don't want. So what do you do about all this? Do we march against the food companies? Form a food committee to discuss the unfairness of this fake food? Stop eating? Vote? This is where you take charge, because it's your body, not their bodies. It's your body that's taking this assault. And you have to take matters into your own hands to stop it and start eating nutrient-dense, whole foods without all the chemicals, dyes, and artificial ingredients. Now, don't take the temporary quick fix route, which is a diet pill, a diet injection like Ozempic. They'll help regulate your ghrelin and until you stop taking them. Then you become a glutton on steroids, but not by choice, because you're really malnourished. When you think of malnourishment, you think of poor children in third world countries who don't get enough to eat, bone deformity, stuff like that. But I attest to you that the 300 to 500 pound American in this country with diabetes mellitus, metabolic syndrome, and other maladies that go along with this condition is also malnourished. So you have two choices. Be a victim of the food companies who put their profits above your health. And if you really look around, most companies put their profits above you, even though you're a customer. That's another discussion. Or you can take matters into your own hands, learn what are you supposed to eat, what you're not supposed to eat for your own well-being, not mine, not the food companies, for your well-being, and take action to start doing and understand that you can change your life based on what you eat. So drop all this misplaced guilt about you having no willpower or motivation and get off that sugar-laden junk food diet train and see what happens. We'll talk more about what to eat and what not to eat in future videos. Meanwhile, feel free to get a copy of the book, Takes Charge, How to Achieve Lasting Health. And remember, it's up to you. See you in the next video. This is Dr. Raymond Edison, your digital doctor, signing off. And for now, you're discharged.